Hello there and welcome to Crafters TV. It is a pleasure to have your company. It really, really is, because we are, of course, going to be spending the next couple of hours in the softer side of life, and that means that we're just going to take it easy. You know, we're going to have a lovely time. But we're going to look at some beautiful things as well. We've got some gorgeous fabrics coming up in the show and a whole host of tools that are really going to help you become a better crafter, whether that's anything from, and a tidier crafter at the end of the day, which we all need, don't we? Let's face it. Now, I'm not going to be on my own for the next couple of hours. I have got my lovely friend and colleague, Lizzy Curtis, with me via the... Are we Zooming or Skype? I'm not sure what we're doing, but I'm glad you're here, Lizzy, whatever it is that we're doing.
Now, what can I say?
Yeah, absolutely. Loads of lovely things coming up on the show as well. Have you seen the fabrics, Lizzy, that have got coming up on this show?
They're brand new.
Yeah, they are indeed. They're brand new and they are going very, very quickly already. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to dive right in and show you what is coming up in the show. Should we have a look at these fabrics first, because they are absolutely blooming gorgeous. So let's go and have a look at these fabrics. Now, first one we've got for you. What they are all available to you individually, is what I would say. So you can go through and grab them all. If you want to get all 14 of them, £90.86 or £111.86 if you want to get absolutely all of them. We're going to start with the sand one, which is this one just over here. Right, I'm just going to... I'll hold that up for you. There you go. So you can see here is the sand, absolutely beautiful. It's the, I'm going to try and say it right without getting it wrong. It's the Makower Adita Super Bloom. And sand is the first one that we've got for you here with these lovely, gorgeous, I think they look almost a bit peony-esque, don't they? They've got a really lovely, very, very bold, I'm imagining beautiful things. All half meters these for you as well, which is absolutely awesome. So you've got the sand. Then you've also got the dark khaki twigs, really, really lovely, absolutely gorgeous. You can see really wonderful fabric, great quality as well. It's quilting quality cotton that we are talking about here as well. The next one we've got is this one just here. This is the jasmine sand that you can see there. Really, really beautiful. A quarter of the stock of jasmine sand has gone. This one here. Now, this is your current poppy seeds if you want to go for this. A quarter of the stock already of the current poppy seeds has sold out and gone. Really, really gorgeous, that one. Now, this one I love. This is the clover sand. Almost sort of like a ditzy floral, this one. 30% of this one has sold out and gone. So if you do want that one, you will need to be quick for it. All of these half metre or half yard pieces. The next one we've got just here. Now, this one... absolutely gorgeous, and it's going to go with this one is the it's the tuberose. You should hear my producer Johnny trying to pronounce that in a very, very thick northeastern accent. I'm not sure. It sounded like petit falou, I think, or something. I'm not sure what he was quite saying there. The next one we've got is the light khaki twigs, which is absolutely stunning, isn't it? Really, really, I love those little pops of teal in there. A fifth of the top of the stock has gone there. This one is the jasmine tuberose, which you've got in this one just here, which is absolutely gorgeous. Again, really loving that ditzy print. I can't wait to hear what Lizzy would do with these fabrics in just a moment. This one just here is the sand poppy seed that you've got. Really beautiful. Again, great quality cotton all the way through every single one of these. The next one, this is the clover light blue. I'm not sure if you're getting just how striking that light blue is on screen there, but it is proper vintage. I absolutely adore it. And then the next one here, this is the dusk. So we've got that same pattern. We've got it in 3 different colours. A third of the stock of this one has gone. I'm seeing, there's something quite... I don't know, there's something a bit Palace of Versailles about this one, isn't there? It is very, very grand. I love that. This one here is the Bells of Ireland that you've got just there. And then, loads on this show for you. This one is the Jasmine Dakota Sky that you can see just here. Sounds like a Stereophonics song, doesn't it, that one? And this one here, last but by no means least, is the Clover Dusk that you've got. Awesome, very busy across all of those, and loads coming up in this show as well. All of it, the Makower Editor range, so make sure you grab hold of it. Great quilting quality cotton every single time. Right, we're going to move on to the storage templates, which are just down over here. These are fantastic because these are going to enable you to create things in your for your sewing room that are really super useful. So what you've got is everything you need is going to be on the back of here for you, which is awesome. But you've got things that you can use, which I love. Let me show you a couple of the bits that you've got in here. Let me just show you this one first. Let me undo this. Look at how absolutely awesome that one is there. So that is your sewing organizer that you've got just there. Absolutely wonderful. And then this one, I mean, you could use this one for a whole host of different uses. We're calling this one the storage caddy. I mean, it could be a peg bag. It could be something where you're going to store all your yarn, maybe if you're into knitting and crochet. It could be brilliant for that. And this one here is, I love this one. Check this one out. It's absolutely ginormous. This is your sewing workstation. Let me hold this one up behind me, actually, because I need you to see just how big this is. Can you see? It's absolutely massive. And it could be a sewing organizer. Maybe, I mean, you could organize a whole host of different things in here. I'm sure Lizzie will give us loads of ideas as we go through this show. But there's loads that you're going to be able to do with that one just there. You're getting all three of them. And you're going to get a binding tool in there as well. Gosh, what an awesome deal. $33.96 is your price there, or $39.98 if you're going for this in the US. Right, we've also got the shape creator for you on the show. This is absolutely massive, and it's always popular. I know it's something that Lizzie loves as well, and it's something that's going to enable you to create a whole host of different shapes. It's very hard for you to see here in front of all this lovely coloured fabric. 10% already of the stock of this has sold out and gone, but if you want to create diamonds and hexagons and squares and bias strips, fabric strips, circles, it can all be done with this one tool, which is awesome. $37.49 or $44.96 if you want to get your hands on that one just there. $29.99 if you're a platinum member, or $35.97, which is awesome value for money. Right, I know Lizzie loves this. We're going over to Lizzie. Lizzie, how have you been? How are you keeping? How's lockdown 3.0 going for you? Right, I can't hear Lizzie there. I don't know. We've got a few sound issues with Lizzie, so we'll come back to Lizzie in just a second. Should we have a look? Shall I leave that there? I'm tidy. I'm very tidy, aren't I? I'm cleaning as I go. Today, let's see what all of you guys are saying over in the comments. We have got Leslie in with us saying hi, Lizzie. Sonia, Snoozy Loozy Old Sonia says good morning, y'all. Good morning, y'all. Snoozy Loozy Old Sonia. Fran says good morning from Maryland. Rosalind's in. She says hello, happy crafters. Helen saying hello. Gemma Joy is saying hello from Bedfordshire. Coletta's in from Kansas as well. And Jackie Durant says hello, Joe. Hello, Lizzie. What lovely fabrics. So lots of you loving all of those fabrics. There's loads of other stuff in the show as well. So what I would say is definitely get yourself over to the website, crafterscompanion.co.uk.com.au. Click on the shop the show button, and then what you'll see is absolutely everything that is coming your way in this show. Let me share with you the shape cutters, because I know these are very busy at the moment. This is going to get really messy, this show, isn't it? I can absolutely see it now. Let's start off with, then I've got this one just here. This is your orange peel that I've got just here. Orange peel it's basically in essence a really traditional shape for you to quilt with. So I've turned it over, you'll see the back there, but I've got a lovely sample here to show you what you could do with that. So this is like a gorgeous table runner that's been created here, and it shows you all the different ways of creating things with that orange peel design. So you've got that one just there, which is awesome. Let me just show you the other one here as well. I've just turned my iPad off at the same time. It's all going so well today, isn't it? Johnny, I don't want to speak too preemptively, but I don't think we're going to get a BAFTA for this show. I'm just putting it out there, okay? Just putting it out there. This one here is the Dresden plate. Again, a very, very traditional quilting shape for you. So you've got that one there as well. And that is going to allow you to do things like this. So you can see that gorgeous pattern that you've got there, all done with the Dresden plate, which is absolutely awesome. So there you are. You've got both of those there, $31.98, $39.92 is your price if you are across in the UK. Back to the shape creator. It's very, very busy on that, and hopefully we're going to cross back to Suffolk. Right, I'd said to Lizzie, how have you been, Lizzie? How are you going with lockdown 3.0? I hope you're doing okay down there in Suffolk.
It's a lovely place to be. If you're going to be in lockdown anywhere, Suffolk is the place to be. Not that we can see much of it, but the weather is great. It's a lot milder here, and we don't seem to suffer with lots of rain and bad conditions.
Well, you count yourself lucky because honestly, it has been Baltic up here. We've had like 8 inches of snow the other day. There is still on the ice on the ground now from last week. So I'm glad it's a little bit warmer down there for you, Lizzie. Now, there's lots of great stuff in this show, Lizzie. Those fabrics are going really, really well. But I know the shape creator is something that you adore, isn't it?
Well, it's one of those tools that you really need to start using and understanding. It's got all of the markings on there. It's got the places to put your blade. It's got all the sort of instructions actually built on it. So it's all very simple to use. So it's just one of those tools that you really sort of have to have in your stash. It's just, and it's lovely and big as well. And of course you can use it up this way or that way. All of the markings are on there all the way along. I mean, the simple thing to do is to show you how it works. I'll just grab a piece of fabric. So let's have a look. I pop that under there.
What fabrics can we use on this, Lizzie? Would it just be cottons, or is it a range of different things that you can cut with this?
Oh my goodness me, you know what, I always say, try everything out. You must try things, because unless you try, you'll never know. So even if you've got a wool tweed in here, that will absolutely work fine, because you're only limited by, I suppose, how high this is going to stand off your desk. You're not going to cut huge multiple layers. So you can straight away put the blade into the groove. So I'll get my head out of the way in a sec. You can put the blade into the groove, and you can cut your first slice. And then if you wanted to, you could cut every ½ an inch.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so it's dead easy. You just put your blade into the groove. And actually, this is a good time to mention, if you've got the spray and stay, which is this one here, and I know that's on the show, you can spray the back of this and it won't slide on your mat.
Oh,
so
fab
really
idea.
Really stable. It's a good one to have in your stash. But you can see very, very quickly, I can cut through all of these layers beautifully. So if I just get my blade in there, when I lift that up, you can see all of my pieces cut to absolute perfection. And I mean, that's just ½ inch strips, but you probably want to do, you know, like a 2½ inch strip for your binding.
Okay.
So if I was to get another piece of fabric in, bring it in. Now, this is folded 4 times. This is like an Egyptian cotton. It's folded 4 times. Now, little sort of little pointer here. There's a black line going along the bottom. And what you need to do is, if you folded your fabric like me, make sure that that folded edge goes on the bottom where your fold is. You can just about see where I've got it lined up. Now you could start from 0. Okay, let's do that. Let's do what we're supposed to do. Line it up from 0. We're going to just trim that away. So get your blade in there, and you might need to wriggle a bit. So you can open this up to get your blade in. Just trim it away. Then what you need to do is to work out where you want your cuts. So you've got a ½ inch mark going there. It's not easy to see from this angle, but perhaps Joe can show you in the studio. And from there, you need to work out where your 2½ inch mark is, which is here. If you're doing a lot of binding, that sort of thing, then you're going to use this more often than not. And that's the size you're going to do. So that's my tiny little bit of trimming, hardly any waste at all. And those are my 2½ inch strips.
Fabulous.
And of course, from there, you can cut those into squares if you wanted to. If you're making a quilt, you need like cornerstones. Again, pop it under your mat. It doesn't, I'm a bit of a rule breaker here, Joe, because I like to have it right in the centre so you can see it. You can obviously move this up and down as you like. Make sure that the black line is on, or any of these black lines are on the cutting line of the fabric. And then choose a place. So go for something that's easy. So for instance, I've got 5 here. So I'm going to put my blade in 5. I'm just going to push it there. I know if I want another 2.5 inches, so I can count if I want, but it's 7.5. I think simple maths is not a bad thing. From 7.5, you'd cut at 10, and so on and so forth. Now I'm cutting small pieces of fabric, but just imagine, again, tiny little scraps. If you're making a quilt, already we have created our cornerstones, and there's 4 layers to each of those. So I've actually cut 8 cornerstones in just a few seconds.
Wow, it's really fast, isn't it?
You can do. Go on.
I say it's really fast, Lizzy, to get a load done. You know, if you because you can obviously work with really quite big pieces of fabric under there as well.
It's one of those tools that you'll always have. Once you've got it next to you, hanging up beside you, you'll always reach for it because it's going to do exactly what you want it to do. So I put my square on the sort of, let's say, the diamond, point to point, and again I can put my blade in there. I can just cut that across, and I've now got 4 square triangles, and I could cut again to get 4 square triangles if I wanted to. So, you know, this is just a starter for 10, really. The next thing you can do is, if you want to cut some bias, so let's just say you are binding something, but it's on the curve, and you want your bias strips. Normally, there's an awful lot of kind of folding and doubling up on the fabric to make sure you get it in the right position. But look, all you need to do is to fold your fabric so you've got it on the bias here. So this is actually on the bias. And all you want to do is make it so it's manageable. And then just bring your tool in. You'll see that I'm picking it up and moving it around. I'm not concerned about the strength because I know it's going to work. And all I need to do is to cut into there. So I can do 2.5 again. And all you need to do is just measure those lines. And as we cut, we are creating a bias, a perfect bias strip. All of that is now stretchy, can be used. And if you have it lined up properly, you'll have a 45-degree angle on there, ready to match up and to start doing the binding. So it's great for creating bias binding as well. It's a great tool to have, Joe, really is.
Yeah, and I think something that maybe one of those things that, let me just move my water bottle out of the way, there we are. I'm having a little picnic in here whilst you're doing your demonstrating over there, Lizzy. One of those tools that I'd imagine once you have started to work with it, you couldn't be without it, because I know just watching you use it there, it seems so seamless moving it around and creating things with it. If you do want to grab hold of it, then absolutely you can. We've got it on the show for you. £37.49 if you are in the UK, $44.96 if you are in the US as well and want to go for that. Already almost a fifth of the stock of this has sold out and gone. I think you're going to absolutely love it, and it's going to help you to get those really nice, clean, clear, precise cuts every single time for whatever it is that you are cutting. I know that there are so many different shapes as well that can be created with that, so definitely pop that in your basket. Loads of you chatting away with us this afternoon. Well, this afternoon here in the UK, this morning, of course, where a lot of you are. Sonia says that tool is such a lifesaver, talking about the Shape Creator as well. Right, let's crack on. Let's share what's coming up with you next. Right, any questions that anyone's got at any point for Lizzy as well, do get them into me and I'll pop them across. You were right to do a little bit of a Q&A, Lizzy, as we go through this show?
I'm always happy to answer any questions anybody has. If I don't know, I'll say, but I'm more than happy. I know these products inside out.
Awesome. Okie doke. Get your questions into me then, Lizzy. I know you've got more that you wanted to share with us with this, though, because it's just the tip of the iceberg, isn't it, when it comes to using this? What,
for the Shape Creator?
Yes.
It's just incredible because you've got I meant to say before, and of course, you know, it's like everything, you can't cover everything in 5 minutes. But each corner isn't a corner, it's a rounded corner. And when you get it home, you'll see that each corner is a slightly different size. And that's because it fold your fabric into 4, then pop it under your corners, if you like, for a better word. You can actually cut different size circles. It's really easy to do. Do you want me to show you?
Yes, please. I'd love to see that.
Okay, so I'll cut a little piece of fabric off. So let me choose, I don't know, I'll choose the 4-inch because it's right there, and I'll bring it along so you can see, getting a bit of reflection of my machine. So let's get that out of the way. So look, I've got my piece of fabric, and all you're going to do is fold that into 4. Let me do it so it's in the right way. So it's in half, and then fold it again, and you're going to pop that under there. That's a bit small. I'm going to do the 3-inch. And what you'll find on there, hopefully you'll see, let me bring my fabric out. Look, can you see that sort of 90-degree angle there? Well, what you need to do is to put your folds on that little shape there, pop it down on your desk, hold it in place. Again, if you've got the spray and stay, this will really help you. Get your rotary cutter. You can use your little 28mm. Don't forget, although this is the most popular size, the 28mm will actually do these sort of jobs a lot easier because the blade is smaller. So always consider getting the big one, the 45, the 60 for sure, the thick fabrics, but also the 28 for doing this sort of thing. But if I try and do this without getting in the way, you can just follow the line around the curve.
Oh, awesome.
Take the fabric away, and then you've cut the perfect circle. Now, of course, you know, you can just start doing things like a plique with that. You can do suffolk puffs. Nice sort of name check there, Joe. But you can do your suffolk puffs as well. So there's lots of things you can do. And it's nice that we've got these curves. And don't forget, you know, I know that we're talking softcraft here for the next couple of hours, but this is absolutely a fantastic product for paper crafting as well. Because you could cut all the mats and layers on this. You could use these curves to cut your card as well. Obviously, you need to have a different rotary cutter if you're going to use a rotary cutter. If you're not confident, I'll tell you what else you can do. I'll just cut myself a little square again. I'll bring my mat across so you can see. Fold it in half again. Give it a little finger press, and you can do this with cardstock if you want, because then you could emboss it, that sort of thing. Get yourself a heat erasable pen, pop it underneath, put that corner as in place as I did before. You can see how that looks, and then you can draw around it. So if you don't want to use a rotary cutter, you can now get your scissors and actually cut that out.
Awesome.
So it's just absolutely perfect. You can't go wrong. I mean, on here you can cut hexagons and diamonds. You cut your bias, you cut your strips. Strips are going to be the 90% what you do on this board is going to be strips. There's no doubt about it. But if you wanted to do diamonds and hexagons, you absolutely can. You just need to do a bit of maths. You need to know what's half of something. So if I cut a piece of fabric, let's get a piece of fabric. Fold it in half again, so you've got a nice crease going on. Pick up your board. Again, I call it a board because that's what it is. Don't forget, look, I'm wafting this around. It's very strong. So again, I'm just going to trim that edge off so I've got a nice neat edge. You'll notice that I very rarely go up to that nought. I probably make hard work for myself, but I just don't need it. Hold my hand there. I'm going to take that little strip away. So let's do a 3-inch. So let me just line this up to the 5-inch line. And I'm going to go to 8. Even I can work out that that's 3 inches. Take that scrap away. So now I've got my strip, and this is 3 inches wide. It doesn't matter the length. If I want to cut diamonds, what I need to do is put it on the 60-degree line. So if I, again, lift this up, it's very flexible, very strong, never be worried, on an angle, like that. You mat down. Now, of course, you can see my board is not straight, but that doesn't matter because my lines are still straight. So I can get my rotary cutter, can go in there. I'm cutting on 12, so I'm going to cut on 9, and I'm going to cut on 6. Just going down. And that's going to give me my diamond. So if I take this scraps away, there we go.
Oh, how fabulous.
Perfect diamonds. But it doesn't stop there, Joe. if I put that diamond down, I'm using my big cutting mat. You'll notice that I always use this mat. I really could do with a new one. It's really seen a lot of life over the last 2 or 3 years. So I've got my points lined up on my mat, so that's perfectly positioned. I'm going to bring this down again. I'm going to put my board over the top. I've got it on the 7-inch mark, but that doesn't matter. All I need to do is count 1.5 inches out, because this is a 3-inch. I just need to measure one. So that's 8. So just put my point in there. There we go. On this side, I can down 1.5. So it takes me to 5.5. And although I'm really a bit nullified, actually works for me. I've got little triangles.
Oh, how cute.
The most perfect hexagon. And that could be any size you want, from 1/2 inch right the way up. So you can start creating that. So we've done strips, we've done neatening off, we've done squaring up, we've done diamonds, done hexagons, we've done bias cutting as well. We've just about covered everything you need. Oh, we've done circles. And like I said, you've got 4 different size circles, 1, 2, 3, and 4-inch circles there. So this is going to be that tool that you'll always have, and when you haven't got it handy, you'll search for it, you'll look for it, because it's so accurate. You know, you're going to just keep reaching for it time and time again. You want strips cut to do a lovely quilt. I mean, if you look at the one behind me, now that's been made actually with the binding tool. So don't think I've cut strips so much, but I've used the binding tool. But you could have cut the strips to actually have put that and use this to do it. So what we do at Craft Companion is to provide people with tools that are multifunctional. It's not always what you see. It's actually something that you need to demonstrate to see how useful it's going to be in your staff. And this is one of those things.
Absolutely, and it's getting really, really busy on this, Lizzie. I know a lot of you own it already out there. If you do already own it, let me know what you think about it. Sonia said that it is such a time saver, this. $37.94 or $44.96. You've got a great saving on this as well. Of course, you can use your Club Inspired discount on there too. $29.99 in the UK or $35.97 as a platinum member. I just love creating all this. Oh, look. Oh, shiny lights. Oh, shiny. Right, let's move on. We're having too much fun today, Johnny. Johnny is, this is my last day of 4 today, my only day with Johnny. And he always gets me when I'm in a bit of a sort of harebrained mood at the end of my shift, so I do apologise. Let's go back through the fabrics. I know they are going really, really fast, those fabrics. I love how regal some of these fabrics are. They are absolutely gorgeous. They are by, we're going to ask Lizzie to pronounce it properly, but it's the Makower Edita Cedar Super Bloom. How did I do with that, Lizzie? Would you like to correct me, or are we doing all right?
I think you're doing a brilliant job. I love working at Crafters TV. It's so entertaining. But Makower is actually a really strong brand name. You look, anybody that does anything with quilting fabrics will know Makower. So that's your first thing. That's the first tick in the box. It's not something random that you've never heard of before. It's Makower. Makower. It's one of the best quality quilting cottons out there. And Edita Cedar is a fantastic designer. That actually, I have to say, while I've got a minute, those fabrics are delicious. And if you're looking to make a quilt, a cushion, a table runner, whatever it is, bag making, dress making, all of those fabrics that you've got in front of you, Joe, they are a combination of the same colours. So whichever one you choose, they're all going to work together. They are beautiful. Unfortunately, I didn't get all of them. I only got a choice of 4.
Oh. Well, I hope you're jealous, because I've got 14 of them here in the studio, Lizzie. So
I know you've got them all. I'm actually a little bit jealous. I kind of kept quiet when I said, "Oh, I'll have some of that lovely fabric." I was hoping for the whole lot, but I didn't. But the thing is, everybody at home has got the opportunity to get them all, and actually, the price for this per half metre is astounding. That is brand new fabric you're getting there, and it's usually at least a couple of pounds or a half metre. So it's a great deal, and I'm really surprised you've still got some. I have to say, it's beautiful.
Well, actually, it's going very, very quickly. And the other great thing as well, if you are ordering multiple half meters, remember, I will do our best to cut it by the meter for you. So if you went for 4 half meters, we would cut for you it as 1 2-meter piece, which is awesome because the fabric is still cut by hand in the warehouse here, which is awesome. Let me run you through the options that you've got. They are all available at the moment. However, it is getting really busy. This one here is the sand. You'll see this print in a few different colour tones. A third of the stock of that one has sold out and gone. This next one here, this one is your dark khaki twig. It's very busy on that one. A quarter gone on that one just there. Now the next one we've got for you is the jasmine sand. What do you think of our new overhead shot over this side of the studio? I love having I was been jealous for years that I don't get an overhead on this side. Look, now we've got one. A quarter of the stock of this one has gone. With this next one here, this is the currant poppy seeds that you've got here. A third of the stock of this one is gone. When I'm giving you these updates as well, guys, this doesn't take into consideration everyone that's got these in their baskets at the moment because there's a lot of you shopping on these at the moment. The next one here, this is the clover sand. I love this one. Real lovely pop of colours. A fifth of the stock of this one has gone as well. Now, this one is the tuberose, which is exactly the same as the first one, the sand that I showed you, in design, but of course you've got that different colourway there, which is absolutely gorgeous. The next one, this is the light khaki twig, of course goes alongside the other khaki twig colour. This basically now, this second, you've in essence what you've got is, you've got 5 different fabrics, in 3 different colourways is basically what you're looking at here. So it's up to you how you mix and match these and put them together. This next one here, this one is a jasmine tuberose that you can see just here, which is absolutely beautiful. This one here, this is your sand poppy seed, which I love. Now, we're not allowed favourites, are we? But, look at this one. That one's a clover light blue, by the way. But look at this. Look. I mean, it's just, if it was chocolate, you'd eat it, wouldn't you? I mean, look at it. It is absolutely gorgeous with the reds, the golds. It reminds me of something you'd see on a tapestry at Hampton Court Palace. I don't know. I feel like I want to get dressed up like a character from Bridgerton and sit on a cushion that's made out of this. It is very regal, very, very sort of the time. The next one we've got Bells of Ireland. This one just here, which is the only colour in that one. The only one we've got in that style actually in the show. The next one here. This one is your Jasmine Dakota Sky. And finally, this one, which is the Clover Dusk. I would be putting the Clover Dusk together with this one here. I think those two together, that as a backing for that, I think would look absolutely gorgeous. Now, whichever one you're going for, you've got an awesome price on these. If you're going for them, they are by the metre, £6.49 in the UK, $7.99 in the US. Yes. If you are, of course, a Club Inspired Platinum member, £5.19 or $6.39. So if you wanted to go for all 14 of them, so you get 7 metres of fabric. As a Club Inspired Platinum member, you could get them for £72.66 or £89.46 to get all of them, which is absolutely awesome. I think is a really, really great deal if you want to go that way. Your saving as a Platinum member there as well is awesome. You'd be saving yourself £18.20 or £22.22. Right, we're going to move on and we're going to look at the storage templates, which are just over here. So let me take you through the 3 different ones that you've got on here. So you've got firstly, this one here, which is your sewing organizer, as you can see. And this is fantastic because you've got pockets in here. You've got these flappy pockets, which I think are great. Also, these have been done so they come off, which I think is absolutely awesome. You've got room in here for absolutely everything. Lizzie will take us through all the uses, but you've got lots of different pockets. I love that it ties up together at the top. So that is the first one that you've got. You've then got the bag, the storage bag, and I think this is genius because this could be used for so many different things. This one's done with a button at the top of here. This could be a peg bag. I'm seeing this as a great yarn bag. You could just have it for, you could just have a nice sort of like, I don't know, I just want to pair up my socks and pop them in there and have them on the end of my, have them on the side somewhere. There's so many different things that you'll use it for. Play around with the fabrics and you'll get a really different look and feel as well with that one. And then you've got the organizer. This is the hanging organizer. And this is going to be fantastic for all sorts of things. I can see people adapting these and having it as a huge sort of makeup accoutrement holder. If you're a makeup artist, imagine adding lots of different pockets in here and having lots of different things in and then having that so it rolls up. It's definitely one of the things that you could do with it. You can get all of them. So you're getting all three of those, and what you're also going to get as well is the binding tool you're getting included in there as well. All of that for $33.96 or $39.98, which is an awesome deal if you want to go for those. Very busy. I also want to share with you the details of the tool tidy. I know Lizzie absolutely loves this. Hers is absolutely jam-packed the last time I saw it. $9.99 wherever you're shopping, if you're shopping in the UK or in the US. But it's a really fantastic caddy almost for storing lots of stuff in the craft room, in your sewing room, but all around your house as well. Right, keep getting your questions into me. I'd love to hear from you. But in the meantime, I'm going to have a look through these comments. I know Lizzie's got loads more she wants to show us. So back to you, Lizzie.
Thank you, Joe. You know what? I was going to do the storage templates, and they're definitely on my list to do next, but I've got to show you my tool tidy because I know Joe just touched on it, and you absolutely need one. And I swear that the truth is that that's my tool tidy, and that's what it looks like all the time. And it sits just next to me on my desk. You can see I just leaned across and got it, and that's how it looks. I'm going to move this so we can see exactly what we've got there. But that is jam-packed full. Now, because of the shot, you're only seeing half of this because there's a big ruler sat in there. Now, if I was to empty this out, this is the sort of thing that you'll have in your drawers, right? And I'm going to do this as quickly as I can. But all of these things are stored in here because then I can just lean across to the side, pick up anything I want, and then pop it straight back in. There's pens, there's pencils, there's quilting tape, there's chalk pens, there's turner thrower things, I don't know what it's called. There's tweezers, there's my hemostats, which are so important. Beautiful embroidery, scissors, pens. I've got quilting clips here as well, little quick unpicks. The other
Wowzers!
Side, ruler in there, that's one in there. I've got my big 6-12 in there. I've got all pencils, tweezers, clips, scissors, stick unpicks. Do you know what? I can't even name them all. I'm going to get lost for words. Got my tape measure there as well. Let's unhook that. Scissors again, quilting clips, turning tools, pokey, you name it. Now that has all come out of that. And I want you just to have a look at that and take a moment of what that looks like. Because when we started off, that was a super neat pile, very well organised, of tools that I go to, and I swear this is the truth, I go to on a daily basis because it's just there. I've got other things as well. I've got a mug that I put pens in. I'll show you. Oh no, I better not because it's tied up to things. I've got a mug that there's loads of scissors in, but this is what I go to. This is the original one that I got maybe 6 months ago now. It's in perfect condition. It gets used daily on an hour. The other thing you've got to know about this is the center part of this is all open. So in other words, I can just slot my big ruler in there and it absolutely fits right in there. There we go. And those silicone fingers, I know the shot isn't tall enough, but I can assure you it's the 6-12 sitting in there. But those rulers fit in there perfectly. And again, I can put another little one in there. And I can put in fact, my binding tool normally sits in here, but I've got it out for a demonstration later. So then we start putting things in. Do you know what? I'm not even going to count. I'm going to try and do this fairly swiftly. I know every time I do this, I'll get all fingers and thumbs, so I'm going to do it fairly swiftly and fairly carefully. Look, I've got my threaders pens in there. I've got essential drawing tools in there. Look, I've got my quilting clips going there as well. Turning tools. I've got my hemostats. And you think, what on earth do you want those for? But they are great for turning through bags and putting stuffing in tools. And this is how how it looks all the time. I promise you. Quilting tape there, pencils. I use pencils all the time because I design, so I'm using pencils all the time. Pens as well, just to highlight the images of things. Pens to send John notes. I want things done. He's very good as well. And then I've got my turning tool that sits in there. All of these Sharpie pens go in there. I've got the most amazing quick unpick there, but I've also got a magnetic tool there. Will pick up all my tools. I've got tweezers. Again, I know that my quilting clips will go in there as well. And I've only filled one side, look guys. If I turn that around, all of that is empty. I'm holding on to it just in case it topples over because it's lopsided. So I'm still going to finish putting this in. I've got a, what's it called, a hera there. I've got...
It's like a Lizzy. It's like someone said.
Scissors there. They're gorgeous, aren't they?
Molly's just said in the comments, Lizzy. It's like a clown's car. Stuff just keeps coming out of it.
I'm always having to unpick things, obviously. Oh, I've got my pair of pliers here because you know, guys, we all need a pair of pliers in our life. Trust me, if you're putting bag handles together, you need pliers. More hemostats. Yes, I do need 3 different sizes. My chalk pen in there. A quick unpick. And you know what? I haven't filled every groove. I still haven't filled every groove. And I could still put loads of things in there. Now that's for threading elastic through on things. Oh, I've got the inside of a pen there. I don't know what happened there. Another Sharpie pen there. My tape measure, which just gets slopped over the top. Now, like I said, I know that's not a very good angle. Let me bring it in so maybe you can see what I'm talking about. But that is now full, pretty much. I could still get loads more on there. But this is the tool that you need, guys. And I have to say, there's still a lot of gaps. It's actually finding stuff more than anything. My scissors can go in there. I've got more scissors here. You know, there's all the little, because they're silicone, they're like grippy fingers. So it doesn't matter what you put in, it's going to grip. So there you go.
Absolutely jam-packed.
It will stand. Look, I'm not holding it. That's going to stand because it's got a weighty bottom.
It has.
But it's perfect for this.
Like a lot of us after Christmas are having a weighty bottom. Molly was saying it's like a clown car. Stuff just keeps coming out of it. Sonia says, I have 2 of these. My larger one sits right next to my sewing machine. Again, I would consider this an unsung hero. Shadiah says as well, in agreement with Sonia, says, me too, best device created. I have 2 sitting side by side in a tote, and every tool I own sits neatly and tidy there as well. They are the greatest creation. Sarah Brown's just dropped in as well. If anyone saw Monday Makers last night, we had Sarah Brown on as the first of our craft ambassadors of the year. She says, hi gang, sorry I'm late. Been on the phone since my TV debut last night. I have become a very popular person here in Melbourne, Australia. So turns out Sarah's a new celebrity down under there. If you want to go for the tool tidy, wherever you're shopping, $9.99, whether that's pounds or dollars, do make sure you grab hold of yours. Right, I know Lizzy wants to take us through the storage templates next. Which one are you going to show us, Lizzy? Because they all look so useful.
Well, to be perfectly honest, I always think to myself, if you're going to get one, you might as well get the whole lot, because there's different elements to all of these. And I know you showed the actual finished products that these make, which is awesome because it means that that's what you're going to make. However, that's not quite how I see it, Joe. I'm a bit naughty really, because when I look at something like this, first of all, you get the full instructions, okay? So if you want to make this tool tidy, a storage caddy, I beg your pardon, you've got the full instructions, which is amazing because it's going to hold your hand all the way through. It's all coloured pictures, so nothing is left to chance. However, for me, as a designer, somebody that's always creating patterns, that is what I'm interested in. Now, if I get a piece of black card and I put this on top, hopefully we can see that. I'm not sure how it looks on your screen.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, not too bad. Now that is like, that's your jigsaw puzzle pieces, okay? And what it's a bit like a stencil where you can draw in the grooves. So if you can see the grooves, that's where you can actually stencil through. Now, if you're working with fabric, and for instance, I know this was your favourite, it absolutely is my favourite as well, and you can see I already cut into it. But
gorgeous.
When you're using fabric like that, and you want to draw through those templates, use the reverse. Put your pen on the reverse of it because it's not so bright and your pen might show. But what you can do, and this is a really good top tip, is to actually transfer those markings that you want onto card. And obviously you can store them in the envelopes. So if I was to get my pencil out, my took tidy, what you can do is, if I turn it down so maybe you can see better from this angle. So I'm going to draw this circle here, this half circle here, okay? And if I hold it up, put it down on my card, what I can do is I'm going to draw through the grooves, okay? Now, of course, like I said, you could use your chalk pens, your heat erasables, your washaways, all of those beautiful pens that you've got in your stash. Of course you can use them, but why not use some of your crafting stash, or your paper crafting stash, and actually draw it out. From there, you've then got your own stencil, your own template, your own pattern piece. Now, it could be that that's something that will be more useful for you if you can't see the drawn lines on the fabric. Like I showed you, possibly the worst example of beautiful fabric, but very, very difficult to see your heat erasable lines on it. So from there, we have the half circle. Okay, use your paper scissors to cut it out. And of course, if there is any instructions on there, and you'll see this, it'll say place on the fold. It's actually the base of the storage caddy. But what we're looking at is that shape. Rather than we're going to make the storage caddy, we can use that shape in something else. I'm going to show you what you can make from this in just a sec. If we take that away, and I bring my black card in while you're still there so you can see it. Look at that, it's amazing. Look what we've got here. We've got this long shape here. It's just literally a rectangle. You've got this shape here, and all of these obviously are pocket, handle, main panel, base, but they are shapes. So from here, you could use that shape to create something completely different. It could be a pouch, you know, like the sort of, I'm going to call it a bump bag. If you've got one of those, or if you want to make one of those, that could be half of one of those shapes. Just double it up, it says place on the fold, and you've got that design ready then for you to use as you want it, as well as making the storage caddy. So all of these lines can be transferred onto card, and that's only one pack, Joe. If we were to look at the other packs, I'll just quickly get them so you get an idea of what I'm talking about. And some of these have two, and some of these have one, depending on what we're making. So look at this amazing shape here. We've got this, obviously this outer shape here, and it tells you it's a side panel and pocket, but it doesn't have to be. I'll show you in a minute what you can make. But then you've got the large scissor pocket. Again, that could be a tab that gets hung from your bag. This one could be big enough. You put a pocket in it, you can have your hand sanitizer in there and make it into a little pouch that you can hang from your backpack, or your handbag, or your pram, or your sort of trolley if you use a trolley. So that's just one of those. And in that same pack, you're also getting these shapes. And again, it tells you what it's for. It's the sewing organizer, it's the zipper pouch front, it's the zipper pouch back, it's the pin cushion. But what you've got are perfect shapes. And again, if you're not handy with a rotary cutter, if you're a little bit compromised in any way, and you can't use the pens or the the heat eraser pens, the water erasable, any of those, or you can't use a rotary cutter, this is perfect for drawing onto your card. A4 card is absolutely perfectly fine. You see, you've even got the centre panel there, which is all of that shape there. And that could be a bag, it could be a pouch. It doesn't have to be what it says on the tin. This is just your starter for 10. As a designer, I see more into these as shapes than I do anything else. The actual products that you're going to make are sensational. The team have worked incredibly hard to make sure that you've got everything at your disposal to make the most wonderful things. But now look at this. This is your sewing workstation, which again could be, I can see it on the back of my sort of bathroom door in my motorhome as somewhere to store all my toiletries as we're driving along, because they have to be secure. You can't just leave them out. So that's perfect for that. Now look again at all these shapes. Small pocket flat. That could be a purse. Just put a zip along there, 2 pieces of fabric, maybe lining if you want, and then you've got a purse. look at these different shapes here. You've got this really big shape going on here, and also look at that. Now that, if you turn it this way, and I'll try and get it all in shot, it says place on the fold. It kind of holds your hand, but actually, if you did draw around this on your fabric, draw out a cardboard template, as I just showed you before, and flip that over. Let me do it this way. You've then got most amazing shaped tote bag. So forget about the fact that it's a sewing organizer, sewing workstation. I know that's what it's meant to be. That's amazing, just in its own right. But actually, start looking at the shapes. Start seeing what else you can make. And that shape is fabulous for a shopping tote. So just put it on the fold. All you need is one for the back, one for the front, bit of lining, some handles, and you're done. Use your shape creator to cut your handles, of course. But you could do a cardboard template. So once you have done all that and got them all safe, because obviously now I've got this piece of card, so I can draw on here. Oops, wrong way. Fold. Right, then I know, I think we pretty would know that that would be placed on the fold, but just in case you doubted yourself, that is now going to be something sensational. Let me show you. So with just half of those, you could make yourself a quarter purse. So this is a purse that I made using that template. I used my shape creator to cut my straps there, a little tab as well. I've got this on there so I can pull my zip down, and that half shape has made that. I've cut the bottom out, so I've boxed my bottom in the corner there, but you can see that that is where that came from, okay? I know I boxed the bottom, and that's why it's slightly a different shape. It doesn't stop there, because if we cut this on the fold, you could then make this. And this is a half circle pouch. Again, you can make this with one zip or two zips. You know what? I'm not going to frighten you, but you could have made this with one zip and then use the zip slider to bring it all together. But I haven't. I've made it easier because I'd like to demo this if I could. But that has been made using just that one template. So when you think about it, I mean, I haven't counted actually how many different shapes there are in this set of three, Joe, but there is a lot, and each one of those is potential to be a purse and maybe a bag that you're going to have here, like a dog bag that you put all your bits and pieces in. Maybe it's going to be that sort of bum bag that you wear in the centre there to put your mobile phone in, or doggy treats, that sort of thing. That shopping bag, big tote, you could make that as well. There's shapes in there to make small purses, big purses, bags, you name it, you've got it. And what you've got are these fantastic templates, which are really strong. If you've got the ability and the right colour fabric to pen through this or chalk your way through this, great. If you haven't, get your copy paper out, trace them on, cut them out, and keep them in the wallet. That way you've got the choice. And when you come to it another time, there we are, pop it back in there. You've got the choice of whether you use your paper templates, get it in, or you use the actual plastic templates that you've got in there. It's a great, great collection, one not to be missed, I promise you.
And also, considering you're getting all of that for $33.96, and you're getting the binding tool in there as well. Sonia says the outer curve is perfect to make a messenger bag flap also. So lots of you already at home coming up with different ways of using these. I must warn you, if you've got some of the fabrics in your bags, in your bags. What's in your bag? It's because we're doing bags at the moment, aren't we? In your basket. You know what I mean. In your cart. Then the ones to watch are the sand, half the stock. The dusk is very busy as well. And also the poppy seeds busy too. So if you've got either any of those in your basket, you might want to think about checking those out. You're inspiring lots of people. A lot of people sharing ideas in the comments, Lizzie, about how they're going to use all of these templates. And actually, do you know what? That's quite nice, isn't it? People using them as how they are intended, but then also finding your own way of using it. There's got to be something quite satisfying about that.
Totally, and that's what it's all about. Because, you know, as a demonstrator, I can say, oh yes, you're going to make a storage caddy, whatever, and of course it's all there for you, and that's fantastic. And the team have done a cracking job with these. But actually, as a designer, I'm looking at it and thinking, what else can I do with this? Because this is such a great resource. This is a library of designs. If you were to buy these patterns individually, those shapes individually online, I'm sure they'd cost you quite a bit of money. And while I remember, because you know what, my brain's like a sieve, we talked about that little mini quilt behind me. I'm just going to step. That's a good way to step. That little mini quilt behind me has been made using the binding tool. And like I said to you before, and I know that's part of the deal, so it's really important that you see that not only does it the binding, because this cushion we made in a workshop, it's using our quilting pattern guides. This binding was done using the binding tool. I didn't use the mitre tool for the corners. The idea was that we use the quilting guides and the binding tool, because it's one of those things that sometimes you have to see it to get it. And I wanted to show that not only will it sort out your binding, but it'll also make a design like that behind me. And the shape is fantastic for that. It's perfect for your 2.5-inch strips. You can cut them down if you want to, but using it just like that, that's the sort of thing you can make. Shall I go on to using the templates?
Oh,
Joe?
yes, please. I'd love to see it.
Sorry. When I'm passionate about something, you can't stop me. Right. So I've got my lining fabric on my desk now, which is just a pretty pink that I just happen to have in my stash. I'm using the gorgeous Makower fabrics. I mean, they're just sensational, aren't they? They're just, too delicious. And I'm lining my folds up, so they're not too bad. They're kind of sitting on top of each other. Now, the other thing that you might want to use is, our stick and spray. Now, this is awesome for sticking your wadding to your project, but also it's also awesome for putting on the back of your patterns. If you cut them out in card, put a little bit of spray on, you don't need a lot. And then what happens there, give it a little waft so it all dries, and then you can pop it onto your fabric. Now that sticks that down. If you're cutting multiple layers like this, I'll just lift that off. What you need to do is secure your layers, right? So a couple of pins just to hold them in place. There we go. Make sure your rotary cutter is nowhere near those pins, guys. And then line this up again, not too bad. It's all stuck down. My layers are contained with those pins. And then all I'm going to do is use my rotary cutter. Now, if you're not confident, you've got your pattern piece there, so just cut round with the scissors. But if you're very careful, and you'll notice I'm keeping my fingers well out of the way, and they'll come to a point as I come round where it might start to feel awkward. We'll see how we go. In which case I move to the side and I come in from this angle, and then I'll go that way. I'm keeping my fingers, I don't know if you can see, but I am keeping my fingers well out of the way. Now hopefully, with the wind in the right direction and the sails are blowing, we've cut all the way through. Yippee! Doesn't always work like that, Joe. So if we lift this off, we have now got 2 complete circles. We still need to do a little bit more cutting, but not much. And when I open this up, look at that. I've got the perfect circle. I've got the perfect lining. But we need some wadding. So again, just bring my wadding in, a little scrap I just happen to have. Fold it in half. Use my template. It's still sticky. It'll be quite a while before it loses its sticky. So again, use your 45mm rotary cutter. It's the perfect size. If you feel that it's too big to come around here, get your 28mm out. It looks a little bit like this. Get your 28mm out, and that will go around in shorter pushes, if you like. It sort of comes into contact with your fabric a little bit kind of less than the bigger one, but I wouldn't go any higher than that, not on a curve. I wouldn't use the 60, but I'm very confident with the 45. Like I say, if you're not, and you're anxious when it comes to rotary cutters, then use your scissors. That's what you cut your pattern out for, to give yourself some choice. So I just come around here, join up the dots, and there we are. I've got my perfect circle to put on my fabric. So again, if you bring one of those pieces in, we'll use that as our outside fabric. All I'm going to do, stick and spray again. You've got to have it, guys. If you start using this and you run out, I'm not responsible for your anxiousness, because that's what will happen. You will get anxious if you run out. And you can feel the weight of it. You can feel when it's running out. When it gets down to about here, get your order in again and get at least 4 or 5 cans. I'm serious. You'll go through it such a lot. And then what you're going to do is place your fleece over the top wadding, batting, whatever you want to call it. This can go back in my pattern pad ready for the next time. But look, that's given me a beautiful, beautiful base to put my fabric on. And like I said, I've got my lining. Now, if you want to create that half circle purse, like I showed you before, get yourself, now look, if you haven't got zips on a roll in your stash, then I need to come around your house and take your temperature, because you absolutely need this. And for this particular design, you want enough to go around half. So we're going to kind of just roughly, and I'm serious when I say roughly, I'm going to do a bit more, so about that. You're going to get a load of zippage with this, a load of zippage, so don't be afraid to cut into it. So then what you're going to do is, and I'll bring my quilting clips in. If you haven't got our quilting clips, you need to get those as well. You know what? If you've got a basket open, can you keep it open? I'm not sure if you can or you can't, but keep it open, because you'll start cut yourself a little nick, that end and that end. There we go. So you know exactly where to start and stop stitching with your zip. So right sides together, so just bring the zip along. Give yourself a little bit of a starting point. So put your slider off your fabric. That way it doesn't interfere with what you're stitching. Look, that's right well away. But my little notch I cut is just here. So that's where I'll start stitching. So I'll put a clip there. Sorry, my hands are in the way. Get that one out of the way, we don't need it. And then just follow it around. You can look, you're going to clip this, you're going to use your quilting clips, and you're going to put those all the way along until we come to this other little nick that we've just done, and we're going to stop stitching, okay? And then what I'm going to do is stitch the other side. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. I'm going to bring the machine in, move everything out of the way, stitch all the way around that. But you'll notice I haven't gone to lining it. There's no need for me to think about lining just yet. So I'm starting where that little bee is. And I haven't got the slider anywhere near me. Let me just move that machine so you can see it better. Oops, there we go. Make sure I don't get the wrong control. So start off with a little back stitch, just hold it. Just a couple of little stitches. Now, like I said, you'll probably all the way around, but I've been being brave today and not doing it. But you're just moving that zip, because you see you've got a straight bit of zippage and a curve. So you're just going to just take your time, going around. There we go. Just get that straight edge sitting on the curves. Look out for your marker. Oh, where is it? I'm past it already, I know. Some around here somewhere. There it is. I'm going to put a pin there, or put a clip there, because I couldn't see it from here. There we go. So just keep on going until you've done all the way around. And this is something that you could knock up on a Sunday afternoon and have a few of these made. You know what, we know now that 2021 is going to be a better year. We know that now because of what's happening. And at some point or other, you are going to want to get out there and maybe do the craft fairs again. Maybe, go and see relatives and friends and take them some nice things. And this could be one of the things that you could make. So look, there's our zip attached. That's already done, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my other half. Hold on, that's it, release it. And I'm just now going to stitch it to the other side. Just want to make sure that my slider is now in the right place. So I've just moved my slider so it's inside the bag now. But all I'm going to do is turn this around. Just so you're kind of swiveling it a bit, really. Let me just move that side a little bit more. And you're just starting from the other side. So I'm just going to flip that over. And this is where you need to, in fact, as well, do it the other way. So I'm going to measure this around. And I'm going to do it from this other end. Let's just get that measured. Bear with, that's it. And so I'm starting stitching. Hold on, let me just measure that because I don't want to be wrong. There we go. So I'm starting stitching my second piece. I'm moving this end out of the way. Can you see? I'll move that end right out of the way. I can put a clip in. Here we go. Just to hold that end out of the way. I'm going to cut it in a minute, but I'm just lining that up. So now I'm going to start stitching right from that end again. So where that V is, let's get that out of the way. There we go. So pop your needle in, a couple of little back stitches, and then you're just following that tape along again. So it's right sides together, so it's the right side of your zipper tape to the right side of your fabric, and you're just taking it all the way along. Now you could do this with just half of the zip, but I figured that might be a little frightening because you have to put the slider back on, and it's not everybody's cup of tea. So no, I do the easy version of this. And hopefully when we come up to the top, it's going to fit. I didn't measure it brilliantly. We'll see what happens. So you measure it, you make sure you're doing this properly, not rushing around like me. And then, like I say, just follow the edge of your circle all the way along. It's not too bad. Could be better, but let's just finish that off. Go as far as you can, little back stitch, and then just break your threads. There you go. So now we've got two halves of the zip in place. So really, ideally, what we're going to do is actually put our lining in, which is exactly the same process. And all you're doing is adding the lining. Now, the lining is right sides together with your fabric. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to trim those ends now. Let me get my paper scissors. And you want to trim them so they sit together, so the ends are meeting. Don't worry too much about how accurate you are. As long as when you trim, that it looks something like that. You can see the two ends. Can you see? Okay. So what we'll do now is we'll get our lining, which is a little bit scruffy, I have to say. You still need to leave a turning gap, guys. Don't forget to do that. I'm going to move that zip a little bit more. Right sides together. Just lay it on top. Now you'll pin this. You'll pin all those layers together. What I'll do is I'll leave a turning gap. So if I start about here, I know where to stop. And so you're just following this around. Now your zipper foot won't allow you to go over your zipper teeth. So don't think you're going to jump over those teeth and make a right mess. You won't. Your zipper foot is designed to nestle against the teeth of the zip. Okay, so be brave. You'll feel the edge of the teeth of the zip, and you're just following that around. Just follow the tape, follow what you've done before. If you want to, go from the other side, because you'll be able to see where you stitched. If I hold that up, you'll be able to see where I've stitched, and if you want to, you can just follow that line instead of doing it the way I'm doing it. But I like to do it right sides together, and then I know I've got it right. So coming up to where the zip slider is now, I'm going to go so far, and then I'm just going to break my threads. I'm popping across. I'm going to start as close to the zip as I can on the zip slider, and then I just carry on. And like I said, you want to make sure that you've pinned all this so it sits nicely together, because everything on this is a bias, everything. So it's easy to stretch it. So if I just whiz around this, I'm going to leave a turning gap, so I'll leave about, I don't know, 4 inches maybe, you decide. And then I'm going to cut off my ends here. I'm going to turn it through. And you also, it would be nice to top stitch this, because the top stitching can press. The top stitching make a really, really neat job of this. And again, all you're doing is going around the edges of your zipper tape. And it's good practice. It's really good practice if you're not sure about putting zips in. This is really good practice. And on a curve as well. So look, there we've got the zip in place. We've got our zip slider here. It's beautifully lined up, but it's not too bad. This is our turning gap. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk about real quick is if you've got our textile glue, and I'm just going to reach across and get it, this is our textile glue, okay? This is phenomenal. It's incredibly strong. It will easily glue my seam down if I want to. Okay, would I first then glue it? But this is great for putting in fabric to hardware, and you could easily use that on there to seal that down. But because I was in a hurry on TV, I won't do it. But that's what you would do. You fold your edge down, make a really nice neat job, and then you can glue it down. Alternatively, if you're really brave, you can go around the whole piece and top stitch. I didn't on the original one, but you absolutely could. So then all you've got to do then is get your zip, get it folded, get it neat, and all you're doing, because obviously I haven't pressed any of this, so the fabric's going to put a little bit, and you're just zipping it around just like that.
Gorgeous.
And then what you can do is you can put a little tab there, you can put a little hangy loop there, you can put a little hangy loop at the end here, put your sort of swivel clips in. You could put a little pocket in here, repeat that design, make a pocket. But how simple is that to do?
Looks absolutely gorgeous, Lizzie, and just really shows you can do a quick project with those, or you can do the whole project. It really is up to you. What you're definitely going to do is create something fabulous every single time you use it. I think that really is the key with these. Let me take you back through the 3 different styles that you've got here as well. I love that this has been done with some of that Be Happy fabric. You've got that organizer there, as you can see, with those flappy pockets, which I love. Even a pin cushion popped into this one too. So I love this also here. Look at that pocket for your scissors in there. It's all really well thought out, and that's exactly what you expect from the team at Threaders. You've then got as well the caddy, which I love, which is this one. I mean, you could use this for a whole host of different reasons all the way around the home. I'm seeing, for me personally, somewhere that I'd be able to store all of my yarns and such in there as well. You've got that one there included, and you've got the organiser. And I love that Lizzie said about actually having this maybe as a hanging organiser in a bathroom to pop all of your toiletries and such in there, because it would be great. I mean, what you've got is a really well thought out pattern, but then you can actually adapt these pockets in here to however you see fit. Do you know what? Because I spend half the week living up here in near Durham and half the week living at back at home in Manchester, it would be great if I could just put all my toiletries in there. I'd just be able to fold that up, wouldn't I? And then I'd just be able to put it in my bag, and then when I get here, I'll just be able to unfurl it and hang it up again. I think that's what I need to do. I need to get working on something like that. So yes, people that do spend a lot of time out and about, then it's a really, really great tool to have. The thing is as well, the value is phenomenal with this, because you're getting all three of those designs there, and you're going to get the binding tool as well, which is brilliant. And remember, you've got the ability then as well to change these around, to personalise them, to absolutely make them your own. So however you want to use them, however you're going to go for them, they are all available individually if you want to get them individually. However, I don't know why you would, because you've got a great saving on them when you get them together. In essence, you're getting one of the two more expensive ones for free when you buy them in this configuration, which is absolutely awesome. Right, I want to share with you again the tool tidy. Very, very busy on that tool tidy after you've seen that TARDIS of Lizzie's almost there. So much stuff in there. It's a really great tool. I mean, and it's great in the sewing room, absolutely, but really useful all the way around the home. I think you'll find loads of different uses for this absolutely everywhere. As in a home office setup, this is going to be fantastic as well for you. £9.99 if you're in the UK, £9.99 if you're in the US as well. So wherever you're shopping on that one, you've got a fantastic deal there as well, which is absolutely brilliant. Do grab that whilst it's in stock. I know we spend a lot of the time with that out of stock. Right, should we go through the fabrics? Because I know it's getting busier and busier and busier on these fabrics. So let's start with this first one over here. I mean, they are absolutely gorgeous. They are the Makower fabrics designed by Adita Sita. They are absolutely gorgeous. The first one here, the sand, which is lovely. This one just here, 2/3 of the stock of this sand has sold out and gone. So you can see there just how beautiful that is. Very, very regal, which I love. Now, the next one we've got, this is the dark khaki twig. Really lovely. 40% gone on that one. A lot of you in the ordering process with these as well. So although I'm giving you stock updates, do bear in mind that is people that have actually checked out their baskets. This next one here This is the jasmine sand that you can see, really lovely, sort of ditzy print, which is gorgeous. A third of the stock of that one has sold out and gone. This one here, this is the currant poppy seed that you've got there. Really lovely sort of, it's like a burnt, what's the word I'm looking for? The colour I'm looking for, Johnny? It's a burgundy, yeah, a burnt burgundy. That's what it reminds me of. Really, really lovely. Thank you, Charlotte, for jumping in there, helping Johnny out. Right, the next one we've got here. Yeah, so the next one we've got here is Johnny is like reeling from the fact that Charlotte just gave him an absolute burn. So much so that he's forgotten to tell me what the next fabric is called. Clover sand is what the next one is called. Thank you for that, Johnny. The next one just here as well, as you can see, this is the tuberose that you've got. Really busy on that one. The light khaki twig is your next option just here. A quarter of that one has gone. Then you've got this one, which is the jasmine tuberose as well. Really, really lovely, that one. The next one here, this is the sand poppy seed that you can see, which is nice. I love this next one, actually. That is the clover light blue. It's got a real tealy sort of duck egg sort of quality to it. It's really lovely. A quarter of that one has gone. My absolute favourite though is this one just here. I mean, it is just, it's just so gorgeous. 2/3 of that one gone. I knew that would be, that's your favourite one I think so far. We've also got this one here, which is the Bells of Ireland. And then this one, that's the Jasmine Dakota Sky that you've got there. And then Clover Dusk. The Clover Dusk and the other one there really are my two, they would be my two picks. Quarter of the stock of the Clover Dust has now sold out and gone as well. Right, we're going to move on to the shape cutters. These are always popular whenever you see them. There's two in here. You get in both of them as well, which is awesome, for that great price that you can see there. This one here, firstly, is the orange peel. Now, the orange peel shape, as you can see just there, it is a really traditional quilting shape that you've got. The great thing about it is, look, you can cut it in lots of different shapes. So anywhere from 2.5 inches up to 7.5 inches. So it means that if you're making small quilt blocks, yes, you're going to love it. If you're making mahoosive quilt blocks and cushion covers, then absolutely yes. And you know, it doesn't have to be a quilt. Start off small. Start with a cushion cover. You know, work up to a, you know, maybe a runner and then a quilt. You know, it doesn't have to always be you starting with a quilt from the very off. I'm sure Lizzie would agree with that. Now, what you've got here, that's what you can expect from the orange peel, which is absolutely lovely. I'd love some of these Makower fabrics. I think would work great with these shapes that we've got here on the show. The next one we've got here, this one is the, that one's the Dresden plate, which is, again, another very traditional quilting shape that you've got. You can see here all of the shapes that you're able to create there using that one. Let me show you some of those as well. I'm just going to hold this up actually so you can see it. But really gorgeous quilting designs on there. They look very, very intricate and elaborate. But again, having the cutter is what's going to make it really, really easy and simple for you to create, which is awesome. You're getting both of them as well. £31.98, £39.92. You're saving 20% as well, which is absolutely fantastic. So do make sure you grab hold of these. I've just shown you two runners there, Lizzie, but there's a lot of different things, isn't there, you can create using these shape cutters.
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt. Do you know what? When the team came up with these, I was absolutely thrilled to bits. Because, you know, we've got our die cutting and we've got our templates and our patterns and our stencils, all those sort of things. But this was quite revolutionary, and it came, I think, about the same time as the Shape Creator. And it's a case of putting your cutter in the groove and cutting whatever size you want. And that's as easy as it is. You know, that's the simple version of it. But when we start looking at them in detail, there's so much more than that. So if I was to put this on my, all right, okay, this is a really good example. I'm going to show it to you. This is a really good example. Can you see it? Can you see it's gone a bit cloudy?
Oh yeah, I can see that.
Right, so look, this is where I've used my spray and stay. And all I've done is I've sprayed the back. Let me just do it like that. You only need a light coating. And what happens is that it makes sure that the fabric underneath doesn't move. Now, it's not designed necessarily for this, because you can see it's a little bit cloudy now. but it was designed for rulers. But actually, this is a ruler by all intents and purposes, because what you're going to do is you're going to put your rotary cutter in the grooves, and you're going to cut any one of those sizes. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sizes. Well, 6, 7 sizes here. Plus, you've got the circle again. Now, look, if I get my white fabric in, I think you'll be able to see it more clearly. That you'll see that you've got your circle there, and it's exactly the same principles as we were talking about with the shape creator. And also that when you're using the shape creator, don't forget you've got 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch, 4 inch. So if you want the center of your Dresden, like this design here that you were just showing, to be smaller than what we're offering you here, you can. If you've got the shape creator, you could make a 1 inch circle if you want to. You might not, you might, you've got the choice. But the great thing is you've got all these different sizes that you can cut, okay? And that's just the Dresden. And of course, you could also use this part here, and I'll demonstrate it, where you can actually cut the Dresden plate as a curve. Traditionally, you would stitch the Dresdens together to make a sort of a pointy effect, which is what you have in the quilts that you were just showing. But actually, you could also do the Dresden as a rounded end, and that's what you can do if you use this. You know, the thing is about all of the products and threaders is that you've got multiple choices. At least that's what I always see it as. Now, look. We were talking about that spray and stay, right? It's just a wonderful product to have. Now, and I said to you the fact that mine has gone cloudy because I've got that on the back. What it does mean, I'll just get my paper out of the way, and I'll just do a quick sort of talk around with that. It means that if you've got this on your fabric, on your ruler, it's not going to budge, right? What's budging is my fabric. Let's make it easier. Let's get 1 layer. And that is not going to budge. I'd probably be moving my table before I move that ruler. If I get the orange pin, I'm rather hoping that I haven't sprayed this. No, this is pure. So if I get this, which is just like one of your acrylic rulers, that's going to slide all over the place, okay? That's going to slide all over your fabric, okay? That's what it means is, if you use the spray with these, it means that when you cut something, it's absolutely rock solid. That is not going anywhere, which means you've got accuracy. So just a quick demo with the Dresden, because by golly, this is just the easiest thing in the world. Now you have got dotted lines, and you've got a solid line, okay? If you want a seam allowance, you're cutting on the dotted line. If you want to cut on the fold, you're cutting on the black line. So if I was to pop that on there, let me get it so it's good for me. Folded my fabric in half. I'm just putting the solid line on the fold of my fabric, getting my rotary cutter in. You could use your 28mm. Again, that 28mm is a great size. We could go for the biggest one if you like. We'll go for the one there. So you're following, you're tracking. So this rotary cutter blade is sitting in the groove, okay? It's not going to go anywhere. And normally I'd say, watch your fingers, but actually it's sitting very carefully in that groove. And I just need to reposition my hand, and all I'm doing now is cutting my Dresden shape. So that is one. Okay, let me just open it up. That is just one piece done. And I've only cut one layer. You could cut probably 4 layers of this very, very easily. So you've got 4 fans, if you like, going around. But what you can do, as I said before, you could curve this. So instead of, what you'd normally do is you'd stitch this together, and when you open it up, you get that sort of V look like that. That's what you end up with. But you don't have to do it that way. You can curve the end, and you can cut that so you can do like a raw edge applique. That's what I'm trying to say. So you can position your curved end, and I think you can see that okay. You can see that my curved end, you can see the little points of the fabric there, and all you're going to do, again, get your rotary cutter. Don't worry about lining everything up, just use that as the piece that you're going to cut around. And then when you take it away, you've got that wonderful curve going on at the top. Obviously, you're going to centralise that. And that could be how your fans look. I don't know if you've got a sample there that looks like that, Joe. But you could just free motion embroider around each one. You could still join it together there with a 1/4 inch seam allowance if you want to. But basically, that top there, you could just free motion. The other thing you can do, of course, so I'm reaching across because all my tools are there, as you know. is that follow that line with your pinking shears and make it a pretty, pretty edge. Or use some of those gorgeous stitches that you never use on your machine and make it a really pretty edge with your stitching. So the whole fan of what you're making, and that could be a quarter, it could be a whole, it could be a half, that could be that shape all the way around. And I think that's really effective. The other thing you can do is a plique. Now, the Dresden doesn't really lend itself to a plique, but by golly, the orange peel does. It's my absolute favourite. And if I had more hours in the day and more time and all of those things, I would definitely be using this all the time for my applique. So same thing, you've got this solid line there to put on the fold. If you want a seam line, then you cut on the dotted line. Now, you might think, well, why do I want a seam line? I want a whole shape. Well, yeah, you could. But what you can do is join two pieces of fabric together by a seam, and that's how you'd cut it. So you cut half from one piece of fabric, half from another piece of fabric, and join them up, and then you've got like a two-tone leaf, really. That's what it would look like. Same principle applies. Now, this hasn't got the spray and I always forget the name, the spray and stay on there. This is just au naturel, but I can put it on my fold line again, get my rotary cutter, and it's got all the different sizes along there. So if you have a look at it here, hopefully you can see, you've got 2.5, 3.5, 4.5, 5.5, 6.5, 7.5. Imagine how big this would be. You wouldn't need many of those to do an applique on a gorgeous quilt. So if you're using just squares of fabric, really plain squares of fabric, you could make this as an applique all the way down that fabric. It would look stunning. But again, just place it on the fold. It can't get any easier, Joe. This is cutting at its very best and very easiest. So we just pick a size. I mean, we'll pick 5.5 because that's what I'm going to cut again in a minute. Making sure that that solid line stays put. Get your blade in there. You might find your 28mm is a better size. You might find that you're perfectly fine with the 45. You decide. There we go, we've got the perfect orange peel. Now look, it's made seam line because I creased it. Can you imagine that could be two different pieces of fabric? Maybe a mid-tone green and a lighter green, maybe a dark tone green with a mid-tone. You could use your gorgeous Makower fabrics and new to date. Oh my gosh, I love that. And you could have plain one side and then sort of plain navy blue, maybe one side, and this on the other side. So the world's your oyster when it comes to things like this. So from there, what do? Well, let's just move all my garbage out of the way. I've got a piece of that gorgeous fabric, right? Let's bring it in. Take my cutter out of the way. And I'm going to put a piece of underweb on the back. Now, of course, you could use heat and bond. You can, there's lots of different things on the market. I'm trying to think of the one, steamer seam, I'll get it right in a minute. You can put any of those on the back of there, because now that's got like a glue back to it, okay? And while it's still hot, it's always best to leave. It's best not to move it if it's hot, but you know, time is not on our side. So I'll just move my ironing mass out of the way. So what we're going to do, we're going to get our shape cutter in again. We're going to get our rotary cutter in again, and we're going to fold this in half. I want to make sure actually that I've got it all covered on the bond web. So I'm just going to fold that in half and make sure that both sides are covered. So if you think about it, I've now got a layer of paper, a layer of glue, a fabric layer, and then repeat. So we've got 6 layers of stuff going on there. So make yourself a crease, and I'm going to choose the 5.5 inch line again, because that's the size I need. I'm going to hold it. If you've got that spray and stay, then that's what you absolutely need, because that is rock solid, it won't move. And then I'm just going to follow the line around, just as I did before. Make sure you've got a nice sharp blade in your rotary cutter. And you see straight away, we've got the most amazing, is that the right size? Do you know I didn't cut the right size? Never mind, move on. Um, so then you've got this lovely orange peel effect, okay, you've got the sticky on the back. Now, there's lots of ways of taking the sticky off. Some people use a pin and scratch it. Some people sort of curve up the end and peel it away from there. Whatever you decide is best for you. I'm not going to tell you any rules or rights or wrongs, but just perhaps give it a scratch, and only do that when it's cold. And this is cold now. So I'm just removing that layer of paper as quickly as I can. These never go as quickly as you'd want. And then you've got that layer. Okay, so from there, and like I said, I don't know why, but I cut the wrong size, but we'll just go with it. So these are the first two that I made, and these are little blocks. So that's, I think from memory, it's a 6.5 inch block. And that fits perfectly on there. And we've got the start of a flower. I'm using some of our gorgeous older fabric as a background. You might have some in your stash. Let's get it so it sits right, that way. And then this one will sit there, and that's going to sit on the top. You can see that it's not quite the right size, but I'm sure you can forgive me. And all we're going to do with that is we're going to actually just iron it on. That's all we're going to do. There's nothing complicated about this whatsoever. Now, you could needle turn this, by the way. I'm just going to glue it on, because why not? It's easy. And I'm always ready for a quick bit of work. So this is just ironing on now. That's glued those layers together. But like I say, you could needle turn this. So all that would mean is that you just fold over, gosh, not a quarter of an inch, an eighth of an inch. And as you're folding that along, you're putting a little stitch in there so you don't have a raw edge. But if you're using things like heat and bond, bonder web, all those sorts of things, it won't matter because all of those edges are sealed. That won't really fray. You might get a little bit of fraying when you put it in the washing machine if you're going to wash it. But so we've started to make something which looks glorious. Now, if you worry about free motion, none of this is free motioned. Okay, none of it. All you're going to do is pop it onto your machine. And then we're just going to do a straight stitch. I've still got my zipper foot on here, but that doesn't matter. 1 or 2 back stitches, not many. You don't want to make a mess. And then you're just following that line around. So no free motion embroidery here, guys. These shapes are nice and big, although you've got the little ones, because I picked one of the larger sizes, so it's visually, you can see it better. But you could pick one of the smaller ones, and if you wanted to, you could do like use your machine to do a blanket stitch. You could, I'm going a bit off piece there. You could do hand stitching. You could do some hand embroidery if you really love to sit and do hand embroidery. When you get back to the end, again, just 1 stitch to lock it. Don't make a mess. That's a really bad bit of stitching there, guys. Don't follow in my footsteps. You take care. Just trim your threads, keep it nice and neat. Stitch length, you could have it on 3 because we're doing a plique, or you could keep it on 2, 2.5. Let's go show you what that's half decent. So if you look at that, that stitch length is on 2.5, so it's 2.5 mil, but you could actually take it up to 3. It depends how big a curve you've got. The bigger the stitch, clunkier the stitch. Okay, think about it. It's a lot bigger stitch to go around a curve. So little stitches are good with the plique if it's rounded like that. Then of course all you're going to do is join them together. So those 2 are already joined. Those have made a little unit. So these can be now made into a little unit as well. So instead of trying to piece this all together, do a pair and stitch pairs together. So right sides together. Let's bring the machine in once again. There we go. Right sides together, 1/4 inch seam allowance. Be mindful of where the points of your petals are, your orange peels are. Again, don't make a meal of reversing. A couple of stitches is plenty. Open it up, give it a nice press. Now you might want to press the seam open. Look, if you look at mine, because I'm using a white background, if half of that went to one side, you'd see it. So split your seam open so it's all the same. And you'll find that if you have a shadow, it's equal on both sides. It's just a nicer way of doing things. So there's my piece. So now it's just a case, we pretend that I've actually press that open. Just give it a little quick finger press. If you've got one of those fabric rollers, get that out because they're brilliant. And then all you're going to do is right sides together and stitch those along. And actually what we're creating is a 12.5-inch block. Now, how easy was that? I shouldn't think you even thought about that. I would think that you're sitting at home thinking, wait a minute, I can do that. 6.5-inch squares with an orange peel in each one. Bit of machine stitching, hurrah, that's easy. So that's your job for this afternoon, guys. If you haven't got to do your online shopping, you could make a block like this. Now, it could be that you could leave that as it is. Give it a press, of course, to make it nice and neat. We could leave it just like that. I mean, it just looks amazing. But why not get your wadding? And actually, I've cut that to the back ready. And then it could be a mat. This could be something that you can put your daffodils on. If you've got treated yourself to a vase of daffodils, which I always do this time of year, just pop it on the top. Make yourself a mat. Now, because this is only a 12.5-inch block, I would say don't worry too much about quilting. You've stuck all your layers down, and although that's a temporary adhesive, you can see the back, the layers going through. We've got the wadding, the backing, and the lining there. Don't worry too much about quilting. If you wanted to, you could go over shapes again. Maybe you could shadow quilt in there. But don't forget, all of that would show on the back. So you want to be fairly accurate. So for instance, let's do it for instance. We could do 1 stitch forward, 1 stitch back. That's all you need to do. And just follow the lines of your original stitching to the best of your ability. What you're doing, not only are you echoing that design, which you've just cut beautifully with tape cutter, but now you're creating your quilting, okay? Let's just move my pins out of the way. And you're kind of gluing, if you like, all those layers together. But like I say, take your time, no rush. There we go. Nobody got a prize for rushing. Well, unless I suppose you're running a running race, then I suppose you would. But 1 stitch forward, 1 stitch back, and that's all you're going to do. What you don't want is a great big bird's nest in the corner there, and if you look at mine, you'll see how neat that is, because I only did 1 stitch back, 1 stitch forward. And you can see that we've done that echo quilting now, and you could do that all the way around, but what it has done, it's quilted the back. You can just about see that that is quilted. And of course, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to get your shape creator out, and you're going to cut your strips of binding, get your binding tool out, and make yourself a mat. And that is as easy as that. And that's the shape cutter. That's the orange peel. I think it's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, they are absolutely brilliant, and you're going to get both of them in this collection, which is awesome. So you've got the orange peel, which is this one just here. You can do lots of different sizes on these as well, and you're also going to get the Dresden plate in there also. So you are getting both of those, which is absolutely brilliant. A lot of you chatting away in the comments as well. You're very chatty this afternoon. It was Sonia saying about the beautiful runners. Sonia says, I have the templates for the orange peel, but slippery they are, so this tool would really solve that. Looking at that spray that Lizzie was talking about there. Anne says, I was wondering how to do curved edges, so thank you for that. Tisha saying as well, wonderful to have patterns and die cuts for sewing to help so you're not frustrated with sewing projects. Shazza saying as well, thanks for all the inspiration, as is Shadiah. Now, I need to show you the rotary cutters. There are 3 on the show, I believe. I only have 2 of them here in the studio. So the 45mm is this one that I have just here, as you can see, and it comes with the replacement blades as well. So you're going to get both of those included there, which is awesome. $21.99 or $29.95 is your price for those 2. And then I've also got the 60mm here as well. So if you want to go for that larger one, then absolutely you can. $21.99, or just change the details for you on that one there. This one's $24.99 or $39.95 if you want to go for that one. And also we do have the smaller one for you as well, the 28mm cutter. I know Lizzie was talking about using that earlier. $9.99, so a really great price on that. or $14.95, which is wonderful. Sonia saying how she loves that last block. Gemma as well saying, I find it so therapeutic watching other people say it. It is really lovely, isn't it? Now, very busy across all the fabrics. Before I run you back through all of the options, Lizzie, these fabrics are absolutely gorgeous quality, aren't they? And I know the price on them is fabulous. They're very, very busy. What is it about them that makes them so beautiful? I can imagine they must be gorgeous to work with.
Well, they are the best. You know, Makower is very, very well known in the quilting world. And to be perfectly honest, although they're quilting weight, if you ever have the opportunity to have something like a French cotton, for instance, and you hold that against a quilting cotton, there's a definite difference. It's much sturdier. Quilting cotton has a presence about it. Now, the great thing about these, not only have you got the quality, but these designs are incredible, right? It's funny because fabrics are very personal. You've got to love them to be able to use them. If you don't love them, they sit in your stash for years. And I've got fabrics like 20, 30, 40 years old because I don't like them. I don't know why I keep them. But these you're going to love. And all of those 14 designs, I mean, like I said, you know what? They really skimped on me getting the fabric here, Joe. I'm really sad about it because first of all, I got your favourite, which is adorable, and I love it. That has got to be my favourite of all time. But then we've got the gorgeous. It's like I could never say the word, where you've got that outline image. Yeah, I'm not going to try to say it, but sorry.
I've got no idea either.
It's Trump or something. Anyway, I can't say it, so I'm not going to bother. But it's got that gorgeous neutral background and that gorgeous, gorgeous smoky grey, bluey tones on it. Very, very ethereal. So you've gone from something like that to something that's quite ethereal. And then you've got the spots. Now, there is a name for this, isn't there? That I keep forgetting what the names are. There's so many. They're incredible. But they're really lovely spotty ones. This is the cream that goes with that. And it has like the burgundy in it, a pink, the sort of honey-coloured, and I think that's probably black. I'm not sure. Could be navy, could be brown. But it's got a little bit of oomph about it. So although these could be great blenders, these are the ones that are going to speak to you. And the bit that I've got on the floor, let me just retrieve that. This one as well. It's got some depth about it. It's got some punch about it. And I tell you what would look absolutely brilliant. That beautiful burgundy colour, which I know I can't remember, sorry, old age brain. But that beautiful burgundy colour, if you were to put that with this one, or the cream version of this one, it would absolutely pop up. Anything that you make, if you think about it, if you're making a bag and you want an accent piece, maybe you want the front pocket to be a different fabric, then go to this range. You've got 14 different colour coordinate combinations. Half a metre, half a yard, wherever you are, is actually quite a bit of fabric. And this one, if I show you, you see, a lot of times you look at fat quarters and think, oh, you know, what can we do with that? And actually there are a ton of projects. But when you start looking at a half metre, if I can get it open, that is a lot of fabric. That is a huge piece of fabric. And that could make you a backpack. It would make you a couple of bags. It would make you, certainly, it would make you 2 cushion fronts, if that's what you want to do. Also, a lot of these designs you could fussy cut as well. So if you're into your applique, you could, for instance, take that centre flower out of there, put some, you know, bondle web on the back, cut the flower out and use that as a applique. In fact, you could applique that onto this or onto this. That's how a collection works. Everything goes together. Nothing, there's no chore to it. There's no guessing. I don't want you to go onto a website and think, oh, is that going to go with that? Because 9 times out of 10, it doesn't. I can almost guarantee it. But when you're buying from a collection like this and you're tempted, maybe you're tempted with this because Joe's been saying how wonderful it is, and I have too. Maybe you're tempted to go for this. But look at 1 or 2 others as a half metre because they're really affordable. And actually, they all go beautifully. You're getting quality, you're getting class, you're getting something that's going to last you a lifetime, and you're going to create an heirloom, whether it's a massive quilt or whether it's the smallest of little purses, like I showed you. I'm looking around to see if I can find it. Of course I can't. But if one of the little tiny purses, whatever you make, even if you do one of those little purses in this massive flowery fabric, it would look incredible. And because they're new today, I think you actually have to have them anyway. You know, just saying.
They are very, very busy, Lizzie. They're very busy, Lizzie. I love that. I'm going to take you back through them all, actually, all the different options, because some of them are very low stock. Now, our favourite, Lizzie, is in danger of selling out. We'll start off with this one just here, which is the sand, as you can see there. Really busy on that. All of these, by the way, are £6.49 or £7.99. If you're a Platinum member, £5.19 or £6.39 is what you're looking at per half metre. You could get them all as a Platinum member for £72.66 or £89.46. So sand is the first option that we've got here for you. Very busy on that one. Now, the next one, the dark khaki twig, as you can see just here, half of that one gone. This one here is your jasmine sand. It's got that really lovely ditzy floral on there, 40% of that one gone. You've got your currant poppy there, as you can see, half the stock of that one has sold out and gone. This one is the clover sand, as you can see here, a quarter of the stock of that one has sold out and gone. This one here is the tuberose, which is really, really lovely. Half the stock of that one has gone. This one here is your light khaki twig, as you can see. A third of the stock of that one has now sold out and gone. You've then got the jasmine tuberose, which is this one just here. Again, love that ditzy print. A quarter of that one has gone. This one is your sand poppy seeds that you can see here. Really lovely neutral, but quite modern, that one. A third of that one's gone. This one here is your clover light blue. I love this. There's something quite vintage about this. I'd love it. What's that product that we sell that you can turn things into an oilcloth with? I think you should get some of that, turn this into an oilcloth and make yourself a lovely little cosmetic bag. It would be absolutely a Fabricoat. That's the name of it, Fabricoat. See if we've got it online on the website. This one, gorgeous, dusk. I want either a pair of pyjamas or a dressing gown made out of this. I think it would look absolutely awesome. Or maybe some lounge pants I'm seeing. 80% of the stock. I was going to say 80 pants then. 80% of the stock gone. These are the Bells of Ireland that you've got just here. A quarter of that one has gone. Then what we've got is the Jasmine Dakota Sky, which is this one just here. A quarter of that one's gone. And then finally, the Clover Dusk. Really, really love that. 60% of that gorgeous fabric there has gone. Now, talking in fabrics, I want to just let you know about a fat quarter bundle that we've got on the show. Is the Vintage Flowers, which is a really lovely usable one. You'll see it used in a lot of the samples that we have actually here at Crafters TV, because it is a really lovely pop of colour. So you've got some really nice designs. Let me show you from this side, and you'll be able to see the designs that you've got in here. So you've got those lovely daffodils in there, all that are running all the way through it. It's a really lovely range of colours, and then you've got some grounding fabrics and plains there on the back too. A great price for 6 of those fat quarters, £12.49 or £12.75. If you're in the club, £9.99, which is awesome value for money, or $10.22, which is fantastic. Right, the Shape Creator, absolutely love this. You guys love it too. Lots of you have been chatting about it in the comments. I know Sonia has it, Shadiah has it as well, and it's all about you being able to create awesome shapes from whatever it is that you want to be creating, really. And Lizzie is, I can see Lizzie's got a tool tidy out as well. She loves that tool tidy. $37.49 or $44.96. We're going to go back over to Lizzie for one more instalment of the lovely Lizzie Curtis. But I know you're going to talk to us about the Shape Creator, Lizzie, but I spy that tool tidy there as well. $9.99, no matter where you're shopping on that tool tidy, whether you're in the US or you're in the UK. But the tool tidy and the Shape Creators, judging by the comments, Lizzie, seem to be the 2 hero tools in this show today.
Well, I'm not at all surprised. I mean, these are my absolute go-tos. I never tell you a lie. Never, ever, ever. I might exaggerate on my enthusiasm. I can't help it. That's my personality. But I truly, truly believe this has got to be one of the best products on the market. And you can see, I'm going to leave it there. You can just about see it. Hold on, let me cut it. On that side, you can't see the fact I've got a 6 by 12-inch ruler in there. If I tilt it down a bit, maybe you'll see it. No, you can't. What a waste of time. I would never be a camera operator. But look, you can see how much stuff is in there. And I truly, 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 that sits beside my desk the whole time because it's so darned useful, okay? I have my tape measure. In fact, I usually have two, and usually, I'll be honest with you, I have my USB cable hanging from there as well because I've got things sticking up, so I might as well use them. But you can see the sort of things that you can put in there. I'm just going to empty this out again. I've got scissors, pens, I've got hairs, I've got tweezers. I'm not going to go through. I've got pliers. Look, guys, you always need a pair of pliers. All of these tools are what you're going to use every single day when you're stitching. There's chalk pens in there, unpickers, pokey tools. There's pens for drawing your pattern pieces on your pieces of card. We talked about that. Let me take that out of there because look, I've got a 6x12 ruler in there, perfectly happy, sitting there right in the centre. And then I've got my paintbrush. Look, I tell you what I do, and I'll give you a little top tip. With my glue that I told you about before, this textile glue, which I use a lot, I actually use a paintbrush to apply it because it comes out and it's always too much. This lasts me ages. I use a paintbrush. So if you're not sure, use a paintbrush, but wash it very quickly afterwards. Let's turn it around. I've got my quilting tape. I've got more pens, scissors, screwdriver for my sewing machine, absolutely essential. I never lose that. Look at all of these things. Now, it doesn't matter that I've duplicated things because it means that I've got a go-to. If I can't find one pokey tool, I've got another one sitting there somewhere, another ruler there with my heat erasable pens. Actually, I'll be a little honest with you here, I tend to store my heat erasable pens like that, upside down, because the ink then is always at the right end for me to use. So a little top tip there, when you put them in your tool tidy, put them in upside down. Pencils, more pens, more pokey tools, more quick unpicks, because I'm always unpicking, tweezers, all sorts. Now that is your footprint. And that footprint, ladies and gents, is, I did remember this, 8 inches, 8 inches, that's so tiny, 8 inches by 2 inches, and that's your footprint. And all of this stuff that's sitting on my desk, which, you know what, I'm not going to put that back in, I'm going to have to do that tomorrow, but all of that stuff sits neatly in my tool tidy. Toothbrushes in there, spoons downstairs, you know, your teaspoons and your little spoons and forks that you've got in your cutlery drawer, that can go in there. This could be in your other half's workshop with some of these screwdrivers and pliers and all those sort of things, boy stuff in there and girl stuff. It could be in, John does model trains, and so he would have knives and pens and pencils and all sorts. He could have one of those in there as well. So don't think it's just for us, it's for everybody. It's for your toiletries, it's for the kids, it's for, now I've got a right mess. I'm just going to shove it out the way, and I'm going to, oh, I shall cry about that later. Right, shape butter. let's get back. Oh, it's been dropping on the floor now. Right, this shape creator is awesome. First of all, let's have a quick look at it. You've got instructions actually printed. This will never ever come off. Can you imagine how long I've had this and how many times I've used it? None of that has come off. So if you're wondering, how do I cut triangles? How do I cut diamonds, hexagons, circles, bias strips, squares, fabric strips? It's all written on there. So you'll never lose that. You've then got the rounded corners where you've got 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch, 4 inch circles there, and I've shown you how to cut those. If you've forgotten, have a quick look back at this Facebook Live a little bit later, and on YouTube and all the channels I know that Crafters TV have. But it's available for you to look back on. See how I did that. The main thing about this, the main ingredients, if you like, is this part, okay? You've got all your shapes and your angles on there, so you can cut different shapes and strips and diamonds. But mainly what you can use is cutting strips. And that's that's all I need it for. So look, 4 layers of fabric. Let's push the boat out. You can see that I pick it up, flop it down. It's not going to break on me. I want to make sure that my edge is perfectly aligned along one of the lines here. You can put it up a 0 line if you like and be good. If not, don't worry. A bit like me, I tend to go a bit rogue. Pop your rotary cutter in the groove. There's diamonds either end. And just open up that groove. It's not playing nicely, which is, of course, at the moment. Just use your finger to open up that groove and then just go straight across. Now, 4 layers of fabric? Yes, of course. This is cotton, beautiful Egyptian as it happens. But you could cut your tweeds, your wools, your PVC, oh gosh, you name it, it'll cut it. That beautiful Makower fabric, which I'm sure is only sold out. But also the other thing you can do is actually cut your 2.5-inch strips, because that's really, guys, what we use most of the time for our binding, all that sort of thing. So you can just go up your increments. Now look, I'm a bit number blind, I'll be honest with you, I'll be honest, you know, I'm always honest with you guys, but I know what 2.5 and 2.5 adds up to, and I get 5. I just had to add another 2.5 on it, I get 7. Anyway, it comes out right. It gets 7.5. It comes out right. So all you need to do is that simple mathematics, and then you've got your strips all ready to go. From there, if you want to, let's just get those out of the way. We could cut those into squares. So once again, lifting up your shape creator, which is very flexible. Find a line that you want to neaten up this edge on all the time. You want to keep it all lovely and neat. Pop your blade in there. Start from the bottom if you wish. Move it along, cut that little end off. It's very light and flexible. Don't think this is heavy, because it's not. Then what we can do is line it up, and we're going to cut 2.5-inch squares. So I've got it on the 4 line. So even I know a 2.5 on that would be 6.5. I do struggle, be surprised. So that's going to give us our 2.5-inch squares. Now that could be your cornerstones on a massive quilt, or it could be that you're just making a little cot quilt and you've got, what, 4 layers cut straight away, very easily, very accurately as well. And of course, the other thing you can do, and I don't have much fact, so let's get this that I just cut. So just line it up again there. So put it on an angle. Don't worry about the angle, just put it on an angle. Line up your 60 degree. So there's a black line going all the way across. Now I know that's a bit skewed with my table. That doesn't matter, because the black line is following the edge of the fabric. This is 2.5. So I need to cut my diamonds in increments of 2.5. So that's 10. So I want to cut 7.5 now to get that diamond. So if I lift that up, and you can keep going and going and going. And there's your diamond. And of course, cut it in half, you've got your triangles, that's easy. But then, if you think about it, we want to do a hexagon. Line up the white line, bring your cutter in, get it to a number, and then you want to count out 1 1/4. Now actually, I can't do that. So what I can move that along to the 1/4 inch, measure that, so that's there, I'm going to just do it like that. So I've just cut 1 in for speed. And actually, that's made you a jewel shape. What you're going to do is repeat it the other end, and you've got yourself a hexagon. If I fold it, you'll see. How fantastic is that? Did you like that, Joe?
I absolutely loved it. I must say, I've thoroughly enjoyed the last couple of hours with you, Lizzie. It has absolutely flown by. I hope we don't, it's been ages. This is our first one together in the new studio, so I hope we don't have to wait too long until we see you again, Lizzie. But a massive thanks to you, and I hope that we'll be together again soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. So lovely to see Lizzie. Loads of you talking about how much you love Lizzie on the show. Great tips from Lizzie, says Sonia. Fred saying how much he loves that tool as well. Gemma says she doesn't like buying fabric from Crafters Companion, as when they come, they are so gorgeous. I won't use them. I just like to stroke them. I'd love more mystery fabric bags to go on sale, please. You've got to use them. You've got to get 2 lots, 1 to stroke and then maybe 1 to use. It is the way forward, I think. Very busy across all the fabrics still that we have for you in the Makower range. They are very, very busy. The Dusk, my favourite one just here, is totally limited stock. If this one is in your basket, then you do need to get that one checked out, because it is going to go. Remember, across all of the others, if you're ordering multiples, they're half meters or half yards, as some of you may call them. But do remember that if you are ordering multiples of them, we will cut them in those sizes. So if you order 4 half meters, for instance, you'll get a 2 meter piece, which is brilliant. And it gives you more options when it comes to doing things like dressmaking or whatever it is that you want to do. Obviously for smaller projects, there's so many projects that can be done with a simple half meter. But if you are doing larger projects, then yes, we'll cut them in those bigger pieces for you, which I always think is so awesome. You're only halfway through the day here on Crafters TV as well. Remember, I've got that amazing launch party coming up with Leanne, and she is really good at doing the sound effects for the out of this world deal. So you need to tune in just for that. And then, of course, the second instalment of what was a very busy craft vault this morning. Lots of great products on that I know you're going to love. So make sure you join myself and Leanne for that one. So we're going to be up in an hour's time, 4 p.m. here in the UK, 11 a.m. East Coast time for the launch party. And then for the second instalment of Craft Vault, 7 p.m. UK time, which will be 2 p.m. Across on the East Coast, 11 a.m. For you guys on the West Coast, which is absolutely awesome. Absolutely loads coming up. Loads coming up through the week as well. It's going to be very, very busy. Ben is back tomorrow with you for a few days, which will be fabulous. And Leanne is in tomorrow. Is it tomorrow Leanne is in with a... Is there some foiling going on tomorrow? Oh, there's a foiling. Shut the foily front door. There is a foiling masterclass hat tomorrow. Is also Leanne sitting in for Craig tomorrow, if I made that up in the morning for wake up call? Or did she sit in for him today? Tune in and find out. Or maybe was it this morning? Okay. And then I'll be back with you on Saturday, which is awesome. I was just looking through... it's Wake Up with Leanne, Wake Up Call with Leanne tomorrow. I was just looking through my shows actually for the weekend. I've got some really awesome shows to take you through the next 5 days or so. I know Debbie Fisher is going to be up as well, which is fantastic. So whatever you're up to, make sure you get yourself sorted out, grab some lunch, breakfast, depending on where you are, get the kettle on, and make sure you join us back here in an hour's time with myself and Leanne for launch party. We've got Crafters Inspiration, brand new launch on the show, so it's going to be fantastic to have that, as well as that brand new Sarah signature collection as well. So make sure you join us back here in an hour's time. I'll see you then. Take care.